Hello, good afternoon. So there was a slight delay as I was struggling to share the file. So hope I'm audible now. So we shall begin with the first topic for today, which was recently seen in news. It is actually regarding governor's immunity, or basically about the immunity of certain positions, how it is prescribed in constitution. Here we are focusing on governor. When we speak of immunity, we are talking about immunity against certain proceedings or certain criminal accusations. So are they protected under what law, what article? Okay, this is very important. When it comes to president also, we have the same thing. But here there is a case that has come up regarding one of the governors of India in West Bengal, where is a person has moved a petition against this governor. Governor name is C.V. Ananda Bose of West Bengal. So the petition is against this person regarding the sexual harassment of the, what do you call as, one of the employee of Raj Bhavan in West Bengal. This is the case. Okay. So when we understand the case, once we know what is the reason why it is in news, then we have to switch to the static part of the news. So news is this, again, I shall repeat, the news is regarding one of the employee of Raj Bhavan in West Bengal has moved the court or moved a petition against the governor of West Bengal. His name is C.V. Ananda Bose, alleging sexual harassment. So what does Supreme Court says regarding this, and what has to happen, and what are the implications if such petitions are filed? So are they immune for whichever what do you call crimes they are into, or any offense they cause? So are they perpetually away from all the civil or criminal proceedings when it comes to governors in India? So when we speak of this, we have a provision in the constitution, that is Article 361. Okay, keep this in mind. This is regarding governors' immunity. So let's look into the key points of the news. The Supreme Court of India has recently decided to investigate the immunity provided to governors from criminal prosecution under Article 361 of the Constitution. So they have decided to investigate. So nobody is beyond or above the law, that we know already. But when it comes to this particular issue, when it comes to governor, so far, even though there were allegations in the past, as this article provides protection, you can say, or immunity, this has been a debate, the topic of debate when it comes to what if they also commit certain crimes. So that is the discussion here. So Article 361 of the Constitution protects the president and governor. Keep this in mind, though we are talking about governor here. 361, the same article provides protection or immunity for both president and governor from criminal prosecution and prevents judicial scrutiny of their actions also. So we consider that is the most highest held position in India. So they are, by default, they are to be looked upon by people, and holding such a position, less likely any criminal proceedings will be moved against them. Yet, what if? So what do we have? Okay. Considering the potential impact on the role of the constitutional head of a state, we call constitutional head of the country is our president. And when it comes to constitutional head of the state, it is the governor. Right? Constitutional head, we say. The court has requested, Supreme Court has requested input from Attorney General R. Venkataramani. Here you can get one more factual information, wherein Attorney General of India is R. Venkataramani. Less likely to be asked in UPSC, we all know. In any other central government exams, state government exams, they do ask who is our Attorney General and all that. So the court has asked certain insights from the Attorney General. When it comes to legal position in India, Attorney General would be the highest position, correct? especially when it comes to solicitor, we are talking about. This followed a plea by a female Raj Bhavan employee, as I told you already, alleging sexual harassment by the West Bengal governor heard by the Chief Justice of India. So there's a case that has been heard. So this is the news. So let's look into what is this Article 361 and what are the powers governors have when it comes to such incidents, such cases. See, just because innocent until proven guilty, we say. So just because the petition is filed, the court or the solicitor or legal implications are still pending. Okay. Meanwhile, we look into this, why it is invoked or why it is considered in news recently. So when we speak of this president or governor's immunity, it goes to a Latin maxim or a rule or a what do you call as a statement, a phrase says rex non potest peccat, means the king can do no wrong. That is the reason we have brought this provision in the constitution. Like king, here the king refers to, though it is an ancient maxim or a dictum or a rule, wherein rex here refers to king. So king can do no wrong. That concept we have adapted in Article 361. It is said we can consider that part. Here, governor and the president being the constitutional heads of the state and the country respectively, as I told you, we look up to them. So there is less possibility that kind of a person would be nominated or would be considered as the constitutional head, less likely to happen. So that is why this provision has been brought up. So Article 361, Section 1 states that the president or governor, remember, I'm reminding you that this article applies for both the president and governor, okay, is not answerable, even though there is summons or even though there is a court order that is likely to reach them, even though it happens such, they are not answerable. They don't have to answer, not answerable to any court for exercising their powers and duties or for any acts done in the course of their duties. During the course of action they are conducting, if at all it is against or some person or some group of people or community has been offended because of that, this governor and president is not answerable for any court, because they would mention that, they would explain that we have done it in the course of our duty. For example, see, we have in the previous classes also we have discussed regarding the pardoning powers of a president and a governor, right? The president will decide whether to pardon, whether to reprieve, whether to sentence him to death or him or her, whomever it is. So this discretionary power, what we call, is not answerable in any court. That is the protection president or governor has. Keeping in mind, okay? Then no criminal proceedings can be initiated. Forget about having a discussion about it, not even it cannot be initiated also or continued against the president or governor during their term. So can you tell me, after their term, can the proceedings happen? ಅವರು ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು 361 Section 2 says ಅಲ್ವಾ? So our term ಮುಗಿದ ನಂತರ, if a person files a petition in the court, moves court, can criminal proceedings continue or can it be initiated? Yes, it can be, because it clearly mentions during their office term, only then they are immune or they have this immunity. Okay. Then no arrest or imprisonment processes can be issued against the president or governor during their term. That says Article 361, Section 3. One, they are not answerable, right? Second point is no proceedings can be initiated or continued during their term. Third is no arrest or imprisonment can be issued against them or any order, any such order. This says 3, Section 3. No civil lawsuits for personal acts can be filed against the president or governor during their term until 2 months after a written notice detailing the nature of the proceedings, cause of action, party filing, and relief sought. So, yellanu detail agi why the proceedings has been started, why such action court has taken, right? And relief sought. And if at all they want to, if at all, let's say it is proven, or let's say they have enough evidence ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರಿಲೀಫ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. They can take the legal what do you call it, legal help. And what you can say is that when we speak of the first thing here, first line here, the king can do no wrong. Even if it is done, less likely the person would be treated as any other common citizen of India. This is it. So one might wonder, ಯಾಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು privileges ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ? ಅಥವಾ don't you think it is an exception to one of the articles in the constitution, if I may ask you? ಯಾವ constitutional provision ಗೆ, ಅಥವಾ if I have to be more specific about it, ಯಾವ fundamental rights ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಇದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ಇಷ್ಟು. Yes, article 14, right to equality. So we can say, you can write down or make a point of it. Article 361 is an exception under right to equality, or article 14. Right? Yes. So ishtu iga article 361 news allide. You have to know the detailed part of it. So what can we expect from this particular news? I have not seen regarding any immunity or related question in kottilla, but pardoning powers ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ discretionary power of a governor. Which are the discretionary power of a governor? Which of the following are the discretionary power of the president? So ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ questions ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So we should be knowing again their discretionary powers, right? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಓದ್ತೀರಾ, ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ನೀವು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್, ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿ ನೋ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಲ್ಕಿಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ದ ಮೋರ್ ಯು ಲರ್ನ್, ದ ಮೋರ್ ಯು ರಿವೈಸ್, ದ ಮೋರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್. ಸೊ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ today's task would be, because this is in news, I am sure that you have already read at least once president ಮತ್ತು governor chapter. ಅದು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಓದಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅದನ್ನ ಓದಿರ್ತೀರಾ. Go and revise again ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So whenever you find this in news, that is, I keep telling, that is your hint or clue to what do you call as look into it. Okay, now for one of you I need to explain the last point. Let me say this again. No civil lawsuits, ಅಂದ್ರೆ criminal proceedings ಅಂತಾನೂ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಸಿವಿಲ್ lawsuits ಕೂಡ. Okay, so there is complete what do you call as halt on any criminal proceedings. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಸಿವಿಲ್ lawsuits ಇದ್ರೆ, ಸಿವಿಲ್ is totally different from criminal, right? So petty crimes or petty actions of any president or the governor ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇದ್ರೆ, during their term, can be filed against the president or governor during their term until 2 months after a written notice. ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ first direct order ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ issue ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ to any common citizen or any other person in India, that is not how it works for them. So ಒಂದು written notice ಕಳಿಸಿ, so we are going to send ಒಂದು anticipation ತರ, they are going to anticipate a proceeding in the future after 2 months. So there is a written notice sending that this is the nature of the proceeding, we are going to, this is the cause of action. No arrest. Even in civil case also, no arrest or imprisonment, there is no such thing. But lawsuits file ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ನೋಟಿಸ್ ನ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್. ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ 2 ತಿಂಗಳು ಮುಂಚಿತವಾಗಿ ಕಳಿಸಿ, ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆದ್ರೆ 361 ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 361(2) ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 2 ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಲಾಸೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ there is a scope for initiation, but provided, what is the provision here? You send detail about the nature of action, course of action, and how you can file against party filing, what the party, the other party, a party filing means the other party, the petitioner has filed, and what kind of relief is sought from the president or governors, any of the governors, or what kind of legal aid one can take in this condition. So ella detailed ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಆ ನಂತರ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. Hope it is clear. Yes. Okay. Yes. Clear. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll just Okay, as I was telling about the discretionary power. So what are the other static part is regarding the governor and the president. So now president or governor, let's talk about governor only here, as it is regarding governor only. So we call it as a dual role of governor. Yavadu the dual role anta andre? Can anyone tell me what is the dual role of a governor when we say, or dual capacity anta ಏನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅದು what? Which are the two roles played by governor, or even for that matter president also? Anybody? Dual capacity anta andaga ಒಂದು we have already mentioned constitutional head anta alva. One is when we say president addresses or comes in a dual capacity, dual role. One is constitutional head, the other one is governor, executive head anta helbodu. Athwa good, you can say that can we say that the governor represents the union government in the state? Yes, right. So he's a constitutional head and executive head. Executive head anta andaga the governor represents union government in the respective states, whichever states. Oh, right. So apart from that, what is the duration of the governor? I know I have asked you to revise governor part. I'm just randomly asking certain general questions one should know, okay, being an aspirant. What is the term or tenure for governor? 5 years. Yes, good. Then speaking of who can or how the dismissal of governor works. Termination athwa before the term ends. Before the term ends, if there is a case of dismissing the position of the governor, how the procedure takes place. Pleasure of the president. On what all grounds governor's position can be dismissed? One simple thing is when the governor resigns, okay, on his own. Governor resigns through law. Like what kind of law? How does it work? Because yaake na question kelde antandre, as you said, he is the executive head of the state, alva. So can we say that the dismissal of the governor can happen on the advice of the Council of Ministers headed by PM? Is that a way? Dismissal of the governor occurs on the advice of the Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. Yes, adu ಒಂದು ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಒಂದು ರೆಸಿಗ್ನೇಷನ್, ಒಂದು ಇದು. ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್ಗೆ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ನ ರೆಲಿಂಕ್ವಿಶ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? First of all, dismissal of the governors without a valid reason is not at all permitted. It is not permitted. Okay, just in case, if at all it happens, first point is on any act of, if at all the governor on any act that is held by the court as unconstitutional agi idre governor the role unconstitutional anta consider madidre athwa adu prove adre court alli we can, or the dismissal procedure can happen. So this is the word for us, unconstitutional. Any act of the governor is considered as unconstitutional, or the person is going against a constitution. This is one clause we have. See, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿರುವಂತ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಏನಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಡಿಸ್ಮಿಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಯಾವ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಸ್ಮಿಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಸ್ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್? ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ governor is considered as unconstitutional. Okay, so you have to know the tenure and the functions of a governor, and dismissing and all that. So basic things. Okay, and as I've mentioned, dual capacity and all that. Clear? Apart from that, when we speak of, in the last few classes also we have discussed about pardoning powers of president. Likewise, we have pardoning powers of governor also. You might have to look into it. These two areas, whether they are asking or not, once you have an idea about governor and president, their powers, their functions and all that, it would be easier for you to answer any of the questions related to it, remotely related to it. Okay, so this is about Article 361 we have. Moving on to, we speak of art and culture. Recently, in last class also, we have discussed about UNESCO's World Heritage Site. The reason is India is hosting for the very first time in July, shortly, which is going to take place in Delhi, a session to choose or to decide about the upcoming World Heritage Site. We have discussed about it in the last class, right? About a project where all the multiple artists are participating in Delhi to paint and different art forms. We have discussed in the last class. Now, the news is regarding same. The topic is UNESCO's World Heritage Site only. And the site which is in news is Moidams of Assam. Moidams of Assam. So, have you heard about this? And what is the uniqueness of this particular heritage site? What are these exactly? Yes. Burials of Ahom kings. So here it is not only about art and culture. We have to speak about Ahom dynasty, yes, Ahom royals and anything and anybody associated with this entire culture. Okay, first let us look into the heritage part. Then we can speak about Ahom dynasty, right? So speaking of this Moidams of the Ahom dynasty have been nominated for inclusion. It is just nominated as of now. It is not World Heritage Site yet. It is just nominated for the inclusion in the World Heritage Site list during 46th World Heritage Committee session that is going to happen in New Delhi. This is important for us because, again, India is hosting it. So the current UNESCO World Heritage list features 1,199 properties across 168 countries. So this is just basic fact for us. Speaking of Moidams, it is called as Saraighat Moidams. Saraighat is a place in Assam. Moidams are nothing but mounds, as you can see in the image here. We can draw a parallel of this Moidams like Egyptian pyramids. Okay, so Ahom kings and queens were buried inside these Moidams. So that is their burial site. And unlike Hindus who cremate their dead, the predominant funerary method of the Ahoms originating from the Thai people was the burial. So Ahom people also, or Assamese, or Assam in Assam culture, long back, not now, we do not see such mounds. They inculcated this culture from Thai people. So this is actually the burial aspect. Maybe basic question, static part, there is a possibility. So this is in the news. Let's know key points regarding what are these exactly and how it came into being. Basic points. Okay. For you, if you know more points regarding it, answering the question, anything asked regarding it, like eliminating the options and all, will be easier. So these sites are royal burial grounds of the Ahom dynasty, which governed Ahom dynasty, which governed Assam and Northeast from 1228 to 1826 AD. That was quite a long time. So situated about 30 kilometers from Sivasagar's town in eastern Assam, the tumuli at Saraighat are still regarded as sacred by many locals. There's a place that what they call as tumuli, and this place, Saraighat, is the name of the place, as I'm telling you. Saraighat is the name of the place, and Moidam is nothing but the mound, the burial site. So how are they built? So Saraighat Moidams were built using earth, bricks, and stone, with a mound of earth often encircled by a brick or stone wall. These sites serve as the burial grounds for Assam's royal families in the Saraighat district. I'm just reading the basic part here. They contain the remains of Ahom royalty who were buried with their personal belongings. Athwa periphernalia anta karitive ನಾವು. Personal belongings ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈಜಿಪ್ಟ್ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಏನು ಪಿರಮಿಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೂಂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರೀ ರಾಯಲ್ ಏನು ಅದು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ, ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ, ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ kith and kin of the relatives of the entire dynasty. After 18th century, Ahom rulers adopted Hindu cremation practices. So idada nantra they switched to from Moidams they switched to Hindu cremation practices, entombing the cremated bones and ashes in Moidam at Saraighat. So what they did was, no longer they made this burial or mummifying the royal families or the deceased or the dead people. Rather, they went to take up Hindu culture, that is Hindu cremation practices, wherein they used to burn and the cremated bones and ashes were kept inside Moida. That was changed after that. There would be possible reasons, maybe as the slowly the kingdom declined, the power of the kingdom declined, and because of the places, slowly the changes were happening in the society. That would be one of the reasons. The burial systems of the Ahom dynasty are similar to ancient Chinese royal tombs and pyramids of Egyptian pharaohs. Very, very, Egyptian pyramids matra alla, Chinese royal tombs no bari royal family ide riti agirutte anta. Okay, this is just a map for you to look into it. The extent of Ahom kingdom, in Assam. Okay, to what extent they were there, you can look into the map, wherein the entire Brahmaputra region they had taken over. And speaking of Ahoms again, these were one of the India's longest reigning ruling dynasty. So you can see in this map, wherein at their peak, their kingdom stretched from modern day Bangladesh to deep inside even some part of Burma also. More than that, and this was the last few days, but when we see of their extent, all the way from Bangladesh to Burma, so the entire region where northeast itself were ruled out by Ahom, and these were known to be the able administrators, the warriors, and they had this cultural appeal also in this particular region. So today Moidam is a famous tourist attraction as well in this region, right? So speaking of the other aspects regarding Ahom, there is one, even today, this person is revered as one of their heroes in Ahom dynasty, who's a warrior or general, and they celebrate. And recently the government has marked this particular day as, because this person fought against the British again. And any name you can think of? Ahom, a warrior, a folk hero. Birth anniversaries will be celebrated with great pomp in New Delhi and all that. So usually it happens in somewhere in November. So have you heard of Lachit Birsa Munda is like down south, Jharkhand and all that. Birsa Munda is a tribal. Here we are talking about Ahom. Ahom is a royal dynasty, a royal family. So among them, or under this kingdom, there was a warrior was named as Lachit Borpakhan. If you go to Assam, in Guwahati, in the heart of the city, there is a statue of this person, Lachit Borpakhan. Okay. So today, his birth anniversary is celebrated as Lachit Divas. Okay, Lachit Divas. So this is special because one is because of his courage, his unparalleled courage. The Prime Minister speaks about, wherein he was the person who has led, especially not under the British. I'm sorry. He was formidable when it came to fighting against Mughals. I said British, I guess. This Mughals. Okay. So this person fought valiantly against British, and that is the reason wherein, and especially the historians also mentions that when Assamese race was united and they actually fought an alien force such as Mughals, and now today it is relevant to the nationalistic policies of the ruling party as well, because by then Mughals wanted to extend their he's not the founder of Ahom dynasty. Okay. I'm not getting his name. You can just Google and find. Founder of Ahom dynasty is a different person. This person was a warrior or a general under in the army. Okay, don't get confused. So as I was telling, Mughals wanted to extend. Can somebody find and tell me here so that we can know? I can tell to people here. founder of Ahom dynasty. Sukafa, yes, Chaulang Sukafa. I'll just write down here. Was the founder. Lachit Borphukan is the warrior. So this is what we have to look into it, maybe basically. Then when we speak of Ahoms, especially, they had this very political order. Even today, there is one surname. I don't know if you have any of your friends or someone here. This Buyan is one surname today in Assam. Actually, by then they were the landlords of Ahom dynasty. And when we speak of this particular region, especially this Sukafa ruled almost all, like in this 13th century. He was a 13th century ruler. From 13th century to almost 1826 AD. Ahom dynasty prevailed, a well-prevailed state it was, or a dynasty, basically. And Buyans in this region you might have to take down, because we never know. Instead of asking about Moidam, they would ask about the Ahom dynasty also. Buyans were landlords of Ahom dynasty, and there were pikes also. Don't get confused with Paika rebellion. Pikes here are PAIKs. Pikes are forced labor. There was this slavery or forced labor prevailing in Ahom dynasty. You might have to take down this. There was forced labor prevalent in Assam or Ahom dynasty or Ahom kingdom, we can say that. Right. So later on, as slowly their traditional beliefs were there, they were merged into this Hinduism, Hindu culture, and slowly this mounts also, this stopped, what do you call it? Stopped following certain cultures of, especially the burial site and all that. Then they fused into Hinduism. As I was talking about Lachit Borphukan, one more thing to remember is, there is a battle that is named after. As I was telling, his statue is there in the heart of the city on Brahmaputra river itself. Lachit Borphukan was a valiant or a warrior who fought against Mughal army, which was actually commissioned by Aurangzeb, right? And the battle name is Battle of Saraighat. Maybe you might have heard about this. This is quite famous. Battle of Saraighat. The person, Lachit Borphukan, is associated with the battle name Battle of Saraighat, and that's why he's quite popular in 1671. Because of this person, today NDA, National Defense Academy, there is an award named after him, Lachit Borphukan Award, which is given to Best Cadet Award under NDA in Defense Academy. Okay, so though we are talking about art and culture, though we are talking about UNESCO's World Heritage Sites, which is going to be nominated, we are connecting to Ahom dynasty. And again, under Ahom, we are talking about a person who valiantly fought against Mughal army, and the battle is called as Battle of Saraighat. So anything, Saraighat, I think they have asked somewhere in UPSC or KPSC or some other exams. This is important. And Lachit Divas for the same thing. Clear with this? So I'm just thinking of any other things I have to add to this. Possibly this much. Regarding the dynasty. Yes, regarding the dynasty. Then the person, Battle of Saraighat. Keep this in mind. Okay. Then we can see, once the committee, the session is done, World Heritage Committee session is done, then we can see the updates, what all been added, and what was the role played by Indian government. Okay. So we will move on to the next. We can consider it as art and culture only. Amaravati Stupa was recently in news. Okay, Amaravati, again we are connecting to the topic of Buddhism. So Amaravati, the rise and fall of one of the greatest Buddhist sites in India. So all the way in Andhra Pradesh we are talking about. We know Buddhism somewhere in North India, right? So how come we have Buddhist sites in eastern part of India? What is the link here? That is one of the takeaways from this news. And apart from that, the stupa itself, art and culture, the stupa itself. So because Amaravati Stupa is the largest Buddhist stupa in South Asia. What is stupa exactly? What is a stupa in Buddhism? Anyone? We have stupa, we have chaitya. Same thing. Just we saw the burial mounds. Here also stupas are nothing but where the relics are kept, right? Relics of the monks. Or mounds only. Correct, yes. So the finance minister, finance minister recently announced rupees 15,000 crore for Andhra Pradesh. One is politically it is evident because now we have the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister is Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, and his return has brought a lot of spotlight back on Amaravati because again the capital that has been shifted once from when it comes to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, it was bifurcated, and Amaravati here being the cultural capital. So that's the reason now more importance is given to this particular place, and moreover, it is not about any Hindu or World Heritage Site. It is about a particular place where Buddhism prevailed, and it is also it is known for the largest Buddhist stupa in South Asia. So the funds are, let's look into the news, then we will go to the key points. The funds are allocated for building the capital city, Amaravati, and enhancing developmental activities in the state. So that is the main idea here. That is why such fund is allocated. This announcement has renewed attention on Amaravati, which holds significant historical and spiritual importance, but remains relatively under-recognized. So, ಈ Amaravati Stupa, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, it was actually discovered by one of the British archaeologists long back when under the colonial rule itself. The stupa was actually discovered from the mounds, which was totally under this, which is totally buried off. When it was discovered, it is kept. So it is not greatly preserved as such, though it is a tourist spot. So the government wants to fund on this particular site. That is the idea here. That is the recent news, because we have seen the budget news, budget economic survey and all that. Maybe that is a different thing altogether. You have to focus for your upcoming exam. You might be having a session on that also lately, or after that, during your classes, or maybe you can by yourself you can go through the highlights of budget and economic survey. Very, very important. Every year it is important. Okay, so for your upcoming exams 2025, and even those who are writing mains, will be for them also, it will be helpful. So this is one, these two are the two different topics we have to always focus on when it comes to exam, especially for your economics, okay, Indian economy. So anyway, that is one of the highlights we have taken, but we are connecting it to art and culture. Highlights ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ budget ಇಂದಾನೆ ಅಥವಾ ಎಷ್ಟು allocate ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ, but we are just connecting to art and culture. Okay, so let's look into the key highlights of this stupa and how Buddhism entered or ended up in Andhra Pradesh. So when we speak of Buddhism's arrival, though it originated in Magadha, or maybe what you call as north, Buddhism's arrival in Andhra Pradesh we are concerned now. So Buddhism originated in 5th century BCE in Magadha, Bihar, reached Andhra Pradesh via trade routes. So it is all because of the trade. So it is more than, yes, the monks started traveling all over India, but what made Buddhism reaching Andhra Pradesh? One thing is trade. Apart from that, yes, Dakshinapada we can say, correct. Apart from that, early evidence would be how did this Buddhism reach? We have an evidence also, that is the first major evidence of Buddhism in Andhra Pradesh is from the 3rd century BCE with Emperor Ashoka's inscription. ಅಶೋಕದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್ ಶಾಸನದಿಂದನೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಂ ಪ್ರಿವೇಲ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. Okay, then historical presence. Andhra monks attended the first Buddhist council at Rajgir in Bihar. See, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು ಏನೇ ಓದಿದ್ರು ಇವಾಗ ಅಮರಾವತಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಂ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. 2024 ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇತ್ತು ಬುದ್ಧ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. So it is like one short question, whether you deny it or not. ನೀವು ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಂ ಜೈನಿಸಂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧ್ಯನೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ನೀವು ಪೆರಿಫರಲ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಷ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಂತೂ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. direct or indirect. So again, these are the hints we have to give when we give our exam. Okay, so first Buddhist council na Andhra Pradesh iruvanta Andhra Buddhist monks had attended. There is an inscription, there is an evidence about it, which was held in Rajgir in Bihar. So we have to learn about the Buddhist councils. Eshtu Buddhist councils aitu ellelli ittu adu gottirbeku. Okay, and who presided over it? All these are very important. First Buddhist council Rajgir aitu. Any other inputs you want to add to this regarding first Buddhist council which took place in Rajgir? Any inputs you have learned in your class or you're ready in NCERT? If you want to add any inputs regarding this, you can add. You can recollect something. Okay. So meanwhile, ongoing practices sites like Amaravati, Nagarjuna Konda, Jaggayapeta, all this Salihundam and Sankaram continued Buddhist practices. Compilations of Buddha's teachings were done. Okay. Anything else? If you want to add, you can, because if I might read, or some of you can try to recollect. So that's why I go for the static part. So, ಒಂದು ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟು ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶಲ್ಲಿ ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಂ ಪ್ರಿವೇಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ದೆನ್ ಹೌ ಇಸ್ ದ ಲಿಂಕ್ ನಾ? So Buddhism spread in Andhra Pradesh was linked to the region's early urbanization and oceanic trade. Ajatashatru patronage. Okay, good. Then, and one thing you have to notice here, ಈಗ Buddhism ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೀಸ್. ಇನ್ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ Mahayana Buddhism. Hinayana, Mahayana we have. But in Andhra Pradesh, the Buddhism that prevailed was Mahayana. Keep that in mind. So Amaravati is renowned as the birthplace of Mahayana Buddhism also. Important. Okay, which highlights the Bodhisattva path. Then Acharya, and one of the prominent Buddhist philosopher also lived in Amaravati, who was Acharya Nagarjuna, the Buddhist philosopher. He was an influential Buddhist philosopher, lived in Amaravati and developed Madhyamika philosophy, emphasizing emptiness and the middle way. Emphasizing, it is not that we know that Buddha's path is the middle path, we say, but Madhyamika anta andaga nav ಏನು ಕರೀತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, the middle path of the Buddha. I mean, that is quite profound and philosophical. When you learn with Buddhism, you will be learning about it. So Andhra Pradesh alli develop ಈ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಿಕ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಪಾತ್ ಆಫ್ ಬುದ್ಧ ಅಥವಾ ಮಿಡಲ್ ವೇ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಪೌಂಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಈ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ನಾಗಾರ್ಜುನ. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ Mahayana Buddhism spread across. So when you speak of Sri Lanka we have Theravada Buddhism ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿರುವಂತ ಮಾಂಕ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ರೂಟ್ ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿರುವಂತ ಮಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಏನು who ended up there had a different ideology, especially. So who originated from Andhra Pradesh and expanded it to South Asia, China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia, all these countries. Mahayana Buddhism originated in Andhra Pradesh, and via sea routes, it ended up in these countries. So this is the path. So one might think all the way in north, it originated. How did it ended up so influentially in Southeast Asia, Vietnam ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ Japan ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, China ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು? How did it actually reached it here? Through oceanic routes. That is the link here. So ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶನ ಅಥವಾ ಅಮರಾವತಿನ ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ ರೂಟ್ ಒನ್ ವೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನಾರ್ತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಡೌನ್ ಸೌತ್ ಹೇಗಾಯ್ತು? ಸೌತ್ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಏಷ್ಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿ ರೂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. And especially this is the origin. Amaravati is the place that originated, that we have to keep in mind. Is it clear? So apart from that, as we are talking about Amaravati, though it is a site we are talking about, and we are talking about stupa. See, topic irodu Amaravati stupa ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಫಂಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. So we spoke about how come Buddhism ended up or arrived in Andhra Pradesh, and we can connect to Mahayana Buddhism here, and this is the origin where Mahayana originated, and it spread across Southeast Asia is to crux. Then other links, as I've told you, some monks attended first Buddhist council and all that. But ಈಗ ಪುನಃ ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ದ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಟ್. ಗಾಂಧಾರ ಆರ್ಟ್, ಮಥುರಾ ಆರ್ಟ್, ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಆರ್ಟ್. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಗಾಂಧಾರ, the features of Gandhara art, Mathura art, and Amaravati. So see, Amaravati, why it is again very specific regarding Buddhism, because the art comprised mainly of the Buddhist. It was so unique, or it is so totally different from Gandhara and Mathura. In Gandhara, what happens? Again, it is mainly Buddhist, but Mathura is influenced by all three religions. All sort of art forms were there. And when we go to the specific details, ನೀವು art and cultural ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ the hair, the eye, the nose, the texture ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈಗ ಇದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, the curls, the locks, hair lock ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಡಿಫರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. We have to know Gandhara, Mathura and Amaravati. If you can give me some inputs regarding Amaravati art. Can anyone do that? ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ? How it is different from the other two, or any unique features we can speak about? Anyone? White pagodas. Okay. White marble. ಹೌದು, white pagodas ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? So the main material ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೈಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಬಲ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೌ. ಫಾರ್ ಯು ದ ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲುಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಮಥುರಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಗಾಂಧಾರ ಆರ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, I'll just list out some of them. White marble, good, that is one point. Or white pagodas ಅಂತನೂ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Then anybody else or anyone? ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನು? Okay, let me read it. Position of sitting. Okay, fine. Let's consider that position of sitting. ಆಯ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಹೇಳಿರೋ ತರ ಒಂದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಎವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಏನು ಗಾಂಧಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಂ, ಮಥುರಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಆಲ್ ತ್ರೀ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ಸ್, ಜೈನಿಸಂ, ಬುದ್ಧಿಸಂ, ಹಿಂದೂಯಿಸಂ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ವೈಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಬಲ್ ಒಂದು, the material used. Then mainly Buddhism ideologies were there. Then can you tell me who were the patronage of this art? ಅಥವಾ ಗಾಂಧಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಮಥುರಾದು patronage ಯಾರು? Under which dynasty or king? Yes, very good. That is most important for us. Shatavahanas are the one or the pioneer in Amaravati School of Art. Very important point it is. It's been asked. Okay, Shatavahanas. So we can see this exclusively. Amaravati School of Art we can see in Deccan region, Krishna Godavari Delta. Okay. So ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಂಧಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಯೂಶಲಿ ಗಾಂಧಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಗಾಂಧಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಗಾಂಧಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್, ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ you can see. So ಈ ತರ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, these two are the main points, white marble and Shatavahanas. Apart from that, you can add things like the art was mainly based on jatakas or jatakas. How do you pronounce it? What are jatakas? Stories, right? So that also can be added. So ತುಂಬಾ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸೂಪರ್ಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಯು ಟು ಗೋ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದೀಸ್ ತ್ರೀ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನೋ ಮೋರ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅಮರಾವತಿ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ನೌ. Clear with this? If it is clear, okay. Then we move on to very small topic. It is about every week or most of the times we'll be having one or the other birth anniversary, death anniversary of famous personalities, or we can consider personalities in news. Idra kelige barbodu anta consider ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ನೀವು. It may be a freedom fighter, it may be any religious scholar or reformer. ಯಾರ್ದಾದ್ರೂ birth anniversary, death anniversary ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So we are considering, we are speaking about Chandrasekhar Azad, right? Chandrasekhar Azad's recently Prime Minister paid homage to this person on his birth anniversary, and it is just in news. PMO office ಅಥವಾ PMO ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತ ಒಂದು PIB ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ನ್ಯೂಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಎನಿ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ we have to consider, and we have to know their role played in India's freedom struggle ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. So all this we have to know. So Chandrasekhar Azad ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ we'll have a image in our mind, right, like this. So I have put up this image, and he's known for his bravery and his courage and his commitment to India's freedom. So let's look into the basic details of this person and what was his contribution in India's freedom struggle and the entire thing in brief. So ನೀವು ಓದ್ಬೋದು, ತುಂಬಾ ಎಲಾಬರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದ್ಬೋದು. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇಷ್ಟು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ the birth, maybe possibly it is very important. Then his contribution in, maybe it may be an association or organization or anything, contribution or any involvement in any movement. So ishtu ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಬರೆದಿದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಬಾಲಗಂಗಾಧರ್ ತಿಲಕ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ which journal or newspaper comes to your mind? Can you tell me? I'm just giving you a random example. Balagangadhar Tilak, a freedom fighter. What comes to your mind? Kesari. Very good. Like that, alva. So movement ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜೀಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಷ್ಟು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ನೀವು ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಲಿತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. ಬಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಹಾರಥ. ಎಸ್, ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಲ್ಕಿ. ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ಯಾನಿಕಿಂಗ್. ಇಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ early activism joined the non-cooperation movement. So if there is a question, which of the following freedom fighters were part of non-cooperation movement ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, we know that he joined non-cooperation movement at the age of 15, way too early, in 1921, right? Then comes this Hindustan Republic Association. So he became a member of Hindustan Republic Association after the movement's suspension in 1922. So ಯಾವಾಗ 1922 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿ he withdrew non-cooperation movement ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ 1920s ಅಲ್ಲಿ 22 ಯಾತಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು? What was the reason behind the suspension of non-cooperation movement? We are just connecting, that's all. Can you tell me reason behind the suspension or withdrawal of non-cooperation movement in 1922? Which incident took place? Yes, Chauri Chaura. Very good. So ಇದಾದ ನಂತರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಇಟ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ್ ಆಜಾದ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್ ಮೀನ್ ವೈಲ್. Okay, so he became the member of this association after the suspension. Then this was established soon after 2 years, established in 1924 by, these were the people involved: Sachindranath Sanyal, Ram Prasad Bismil, these are very prominent names, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, to challenge British rule. So yaar idanna, who found it? Basically it was not Chandrasekhar Azad, he was part of it, he involved in it, but who found it? These three people: Sachindranath Sanyal, Ram Prasad Bismil and Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee. Who are the other members of this association, including Chandrasekhar Azad? Bhagat Singh, he was part of HRA. Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Roshan Singh, Ashfaqullah Khan and Rajendra Lahari. Ishtrali namge gottu famous names yadu anta. Navu Azad, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ these were part of HRA or Hindustan Republic Association. Okay, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Chandrasekhar Azad. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, HSRA ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್. ಈ HRA ಅಂತಿದ್ದು ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್, ಇಟ್ ಎವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಇಂಟು ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕನ್ ಆರ್ಮಿ ಆಯ್ತು. First it was association, it was not an army. Remember this. 1924 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1928 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಆರ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, HSRA, wherein the prominent people were again Azad, Chandrasekhar Azad, the same people: Ashfaqullah Khan, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev Thapar, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee. So they were part of this. Then very famous, we know that, wherein the train was attacked, Lord Irwin's train was attacked in 1929, and he was, rather than killed, we can consider as martyred. He was martyred on 27 February 1931 at Azad Park in Allahabad. This was his brief history, life history. So illi namge take away enu anta andre, Earlier, he was part of non-cooperation movement. Then he became part of HRA, not only HRA, HSRA also. Then the main conspiracy he was involved in was attacking the train, that is especially where Lord Irwin was traveling. Then he was martyred in 1931. It's such a short duration and known for his valor at his youngest possible age. So that's why we commemorate his birth anniversary. Okay, this clear? ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವಾರದಲ್ಲೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಐ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಈ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಈ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆಸ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ಇಸ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್, ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, whenever it is there, we'll have to revise. That's all. We never know what kind of questions are there, but ನೀವು already ಇದು ಓದಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಈಗ. So go and revise again. Okay, then next we shall speak about natural farming. Okay, natural farming was recently in news. You can consider this as environment, you can consider this as agriculture or under the topic of agriculture, or even governance also. I have brought up this under governance because recently under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, a regional consultation program on the science of natural farming was organized in Lucknow. ಒಂದು program organize ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಯಾವುದು under the Ministry of Agriculture. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ main topic ಏನು natural farming. Natural farming is a very important area under topic of agriculture because it is an evolving farming technique. Gone are the days we are talking about organic or different sort of farming. ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟೋ types of farming, ಈಗ regenerative farming ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. The most prominent popular was long back was organic farming. ಈಗ we are switching into natural farming. So the government not only in this program, even in the budget session allೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ natural farming ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು budget allocate ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Yes, budget allocation ಆಗಿದೆ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಗೆ ಈ ಸಲ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೀ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್? ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಶಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇನ್ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್. ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ you might have heard, and if you can tell me who was the pioneer, whose idea it was when it comes to natural farming, the person behind this concept. Subhash Palekar anta keltiralva? You heard of the name? Proudly part of Karnataka only. So it originated, the very idea, Subhash Palekar originated in Karnataka, basically Karnataka, Maharashtra, this region, and now today it is more popular and government is funding for this farming technique. Okay, ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಿಫೋರ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಏನೇನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹೊಸದೀಗ. ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ರೀಜನರೇಟಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. ಅದೇನಂತ ನೋಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ರೀಜನರೇಟಿವ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್, ಟೂ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ terms I'll mention here. I want you to look into it. One is regenerative. You have to find out how it is different from natural farming. Okay, in the coming days we might come across the same topic again because it is a very popular topic in the news. It resurfaces. Regenerative farming ಒಂದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ. These are the two popular terms apart from natural farming. Okay, so let's look into the news first. As I've already told you, there was a program. It is called as Regional Consultation Program on the Science of Natural Farming, highlighted the importance of natural farming as a sustainable agricultural practice. So farmers, ಈ program ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, farmers practicing natural farming on part of their land for 3 years will be eligible for government subsidies. ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ದು ಮೇನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಏನಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ನ ಸತತವಾಗಿ 3 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಏನು ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಲ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಎಲಿಜಿಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ. ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ in whichever form, whichever way, that has to be discussed yet. Okay, Laboratories will be set up in agricultural universities for natural farming research. So we have agricultural universities across the country. So their lab, a special lab will be set up. That is still a prediction. Now it is like estimated. Okay. This initiative will support natural farming practices and boost food reserves. It is two highlights. But the next question comes in, what is natural farming? How it is different from the conventional farming, the conservative, the conventional farming, or the traditional farming? Yake idike importance kodta idare anta. Okay. So hope you got the highlights of the program here. Fine. So main highlight ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ 3 years natural farming ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಅಂತ. So natural farming prioritizes minimal intervention and relies on natural ways for crop cultivation. Andre, so it's like we can say chemical free farming anta helbodu. Athwa minimal intervention, yardu minimal intervention, anything regarding chemical or synthetic fertilizers will be minimized. And ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧ್ಯನೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿಗುವಂತ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್, ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್. Okay. ಅದು ಇದೆ, no tillage. That is, we'll see components ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. First we look into this key points. So its goal, ಯಾಕೆ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಬೂಸ್ಟ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್, enhance biodiversity, maintain ecosystem balance while avoiding synthetic chemicals. Idu underlined word you have to keep in mind. Totally completely avoiding chemicals, only focusing on whatever it is naturally available. Adike adana natural farming anta karitivi. Okay. Then practices include kannadadalli enanತಾರೆ ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕ for natural farming. You can help me out. Practices include recycling organic materials, applying mulch from biomass, okay. Using cow dung, urine mixtures, promoting soil aeration, steering clear of synthetic inputs. Let me explain this to you. Mulch andre eno? What is mulching? Applying mulch from biomass. Mulch anta andre, once you harvest the crops, you keep the stem behind, you just cut off the stem and you cover the soil with hay or straw or grass. So this will retain the moisture of the soil. Applying mulching andre, this will retain the moisture of the soil while you cover the hay or dry grass on the soil. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಅದರದ್ದು ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಫರ್ಟಿಲಿಟಿನೂ ರಿಟೇನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮಲ್ಚ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಏನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಲ್ಚಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ? ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಇದನ್ನ ಈ ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದೇ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಬರ್ನ್ ಇಟ್, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕವರ್ ದ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು. ಆದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಮಲ್ಚ್ when they are applying this mulch, they also apply this cow dung urine mixtures, urine mattu ಗೋಮೂತ್ರ ಮತ್ತು ಸಗಣಿ, cow dung mixtures, promoting soil aeration. Soil aeration ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ for the soil to breathe. It's basically it is not for the soil to breathe, it is for the soil microorganisms to breathe. And steering clear of synthetic inputs. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧ್ಯನೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡದ ಹಾಗೆ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲಿಟಿನ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, then these are the three things. I'll come back to the schemes. Let's look into the components, as one of you were asking. No tillage, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. So these are the components of natural farming. Okay, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೀಜಾಮೃತ್, ಜೀವಾಮೃತ್, mulching, ವಾಪಸ and plant protection. These are the main components. Even if it is asked in mains, ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನ ನೀವು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. First, what is natural farming? Natural farming is a farming using naturally available organic materials and avoiding synthetic chemicals. Simple definition. What are the components of natural farming? Let's see. Bijamrit. This is one of the component. So this process includes treatment of seed using cow dung, urine and lime based formulations. Seed ge yav ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ cow dung, urine ಮತ್ತು lime based formulations na cover ಮಾಡಿ. So the seed itself, when it germinates itself, it is more fertile. ಆಗೋ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ನರಿಶ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ನರಿಶ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಗಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೀಜಾಮೃತ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಜೀವಾಮೃತ ಅಂತ focusing on seed. Jivamrit is the process enhances the fertility of the soil using same thing. Cow urine, dung, floor of pulses, and jaggery concoction. Floor of pulses ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಏನು ಗ್ರೌಂಡೆಡ್ ಆರ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಒಂದು ಏನಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ವೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಕಾಳುಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಪೌಡರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಜಾಗರಿ ಕಾನ್ಕಾಕ್ಷನ್. ಜಾಗರಿ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಡಿಕಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್, ಬೆಟರ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬಿಯಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿನ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ದೆನ್ ಮಲ್ಚಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ, as I've already mentioned, the process involves creating microclimate using different mulches with trees, crop biomass to conserve soil moisture. Remember, mulching, the main idea behind mulching is to retain soil moisture. If the soil is exposed to excess heat or erosion of the topsoil, then the soil will lose its fertility. So they will cover normally with grass. So if it is excessively, you can add more ingredients to it. Moisture retain agutte. For the next cropping season, it will be beneficial. Next, plant protection. The process involves spraying of biological concoctions. Concoctions andre one solution tara, which prevents pest, disease and weed problems and protects the plant and improves their soil fertility. Let me ask you this. Basic agi akasmat ivaga when you are into so much into gardening, if there are infestations of some pest or worms on the plants, what is the best application? What can be used naturally available? Any ingredient we can use to avoid this fungal, especially fungal infection on plants or fungal attack on plants? Naturally available, easily available ಒಂದು concoction ಯಾವುದು? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್, ನೀಮ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ, ನೀಮ್ ಆಯಿಲ್, ನೀಮ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೇ, ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿ ವೇ. ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರುವಂತ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ರೀಡಿಯಂಟ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕನ್ಕಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಬರೀ ನೀಮ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಲೈಮ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫೆಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಲ್ or fungal. Mostly fungal infections are very common among plants. So we neem or jaggery or anything that is possible wherein it has certain properties, antifungal properties, antibacterial properties, that can be made as a concoction, as a liquid tara, solution tara ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. Okay, so ಅದು plant protection. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಾಪಸ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, the process involves activating earthworms in the soil in order to create water vapor condensation. So the idea in here is, we have learned in our school level that earthworm are farmer's friend, right? So Vapasa is to activate these earthworms in the soil in order to create water vapor condensation. How can we activate these earthworms in the soil? By maintaining the soil moisture. Ee ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ moisture na maintain ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, earthworms presence ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So earthworms presence ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಾಗ, the importance of earthworms in the soil is, one is soil aeration, because they are constantly moving in the soil. It creates certain space for the microorganisms to breathe. Soil aeration agutte, right? And not only for the organisms, but also for the root respiration, it matters. Plants require this root respiration. So for that, aeration happens. And also earthworms, the major role played by earthworm is feeding on dead and decayed matter in the soil. So why are we concerned about earthworms? Because when they feed on this dead and decayed matter or anything that is, it may be debris or feces or waste in soil, the resultant excretion, ಈಗ earthworm ಏನ್ ತಿಂದು ಅದು excrete ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ ಅದೇ manure. We have this concept under vermicompost. What is vermicompost? The organic waste is filled in a pit or a bin. We introduce this wiggly worms, earthworms and all that. They feed on this waste and the resultant excretion is the manure. We call it as compost. Earthworm the excretion ನಾವು ಮೆನ್ಯೂರ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಫರ್ಟೈಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ರೀಸೈಕಲ್ಡ್ ನೌ, which is broken down, which helps the plant growth and its survival. So ಈ ಮೆಥಡ್ ನ ನಾವು ವಾಪಸ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So these are the terms: ಬೀಜಾಮೃತ್, ಜೀವಾಮೃತ್, mulching, plant protection, ವಾಪಸ. ಇದನ್ನ components of natural farming ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So it has been from past a decade at least, it is prominent and many states have been following this. They have their own programs for natural farming. State level ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಗ national level ಅಲ್ಲಿ budget allocate ಮಾಡಿ programs ನ conduct ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So importance is given. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್, ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಓದಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್, ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್, ಡಿಸ್ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ವೈ ಡು ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಇಟ್, more insights you would get. Okay, don't miss out any article given on natural farming in the upcoming days. Okay, so apart from that, last 2 points I want to add is ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಭಾರತೀಯ ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ್ ಕೃಷಿ ಪದ್ಧತಿ, this is a program, a submission under, there is a program called as ಪಾರಂಪರಾಗತ್ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಕಾಸ್ ಯೋಜನಾ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾರಂಪರಾಗತ್ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಕಾಸ್ ಯೋಜನಾ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎನಿವನ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ? This program is actually associated to organic farming. Okay, Paramparagat focuses on organic farming. The organic farming ಕೆಳಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸಬ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಬ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಭಾರತೀಯ ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ್ ಕೃಷಿ ಪದ್ಧತಿ, ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ್ ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್, ಕೃಷಿ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಮಿಷನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಯೋಜನೆ ತಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಮಿಷನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮಿಷನ್ ಆನ್ ಸಸ್ಟೈನೇಬಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ NMSA, if I'm not wrong, is one of the 8 missions under NAPCC. I don't know, hope you are getting it what I'm telling you. National Action Plan on Climate Change ಅಂತ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗೆ 8 ಮಿಷನ್ಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, 8 ವೇರಿಯಸ್. ಒಂದು ಸಸ್ಟೈನೇಬಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಥವಾ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಮಿಷನ್, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಮಿಷನ್. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದ 8 ಮಿಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಾಂಗ್, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ದಿಸ್ ಸಸ್ಟೈನೇಬಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಮೇ ಬಿ ದ ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಇಸ್ which are the other 7 missions you can see. So main program is actually the main program is, let me draw the flow chart here. NAPCC ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮಿಷನ್ ಆನ್ ಸಸ್ಟೈನೇಬಲ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಅಂಡರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪಾರಂಪರಾಗತ್ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಕಾಸ್ ಯೋಜನಾ. ಅಂಡರ್ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಕಾಸ್ ಯೋಜನಾ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಪ್ರಾಕೃತಿಕ್ ಕೃಷಿ ಪದ್ಧತಿ, ವಿಚ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮಿಷನ್ ಆನ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಾನು ಒಂದು ಎಲಾಬರೇಟ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಅಂಡ್ one more thing to ponder about is we have this organic farming already. We know that organic farming is quite better than traditional farming, conventional methods, what we use, chemical fertilizers and all that. How organic farming is different than natural farming? This is my question. Anybody can answer this? Or are they one and the same? Is natural farming and organic farming are one and the same? What do you think? They are totally different. Okay, or you can consider it as a subcategory. Natural farming is the category, one of the categories under organic farming. But how do they differ? Why do we use 2 different terms? Because the method that is followed when we take up farming. Okay, if you have any specific points, you can let me know. Meanwhile, we'll take a break. Okay, when we come back from the break, you can tell me what are the features of, at least 2 features of organic farming, 2 features of natural farming. How are they different? Okay, we'll take a break for a few minutes. Then we'll go on to the next topic after this. You can post it in the chat box. I'll read it later. Okay, you can put your inputs. Okay, I have got a couple of answers here. Let me look into it. Use of decomposers in organic farming, biological pest control prepared by animal and plant waste. Natural farming preserves the natural agro system by avoiding practices like plowing, tilling of the soil. Organic farming deals with no synthetic chemicals but allows tillage and modify. Yes, exactly. So, bottom line, thank you for, I'm glad that you have brought up some of the changes, differences. Organic farming follow monocrop culture. Yes. Natural farming, crop rotation is there. Organic farming, treated seeds are used. Natural farming, untreated seeds. Chemicals are used in organic farming. Is that so? No chemicals used in natural. Chemicals and organic farming are direct chemicals. So we can say that there is some amount of synthetic fertilizers or artificially prepared. Illi without natural farming no intervention antandre intervention is nil totally, right? We are talking about this. Intervention is nil. Most of the topics you have covered. Very good. One more point I'll add. Legal implication anta bandaga, regulation anta bandaga, organic farming ಗೆ certain regulation ಮತ್ತು certification ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಬೇಕು, ಮುಖ್ಯ. The basic guideline is, one of the normal guideline is for organic farming is to be considered as a particular crop as organic. In the past 10 years, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಥೆಟಿಕ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರಬಾರ್ದು ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 10 years. ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 10 years ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಸೊ ಐಮ್ ಸಾರಿ, ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರೀಫ್ರೇಸ್ ಮೈ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ತಗೊಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ತಗೊಬಹುದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಬಾಟಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಡನ್, ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಮಿನಿಮಲ್. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಅದು ರೆಜುವಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಅದು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಟಿಡಿಯಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಟು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ, ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಗುಡ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಅಪ್. ಆಡ್ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ನೋ ಲೈಕ್ 10 ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್, 5 to 10 ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಬರಿಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಟ್. ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್, ಈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೆಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೌದು, ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯೂರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಮಿ ಕಂಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಮಿ ಕಂಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಸ್ ಯು ಸಾ ಇನ್ ವಾಪಸ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಐಡಿಯಾ ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ವರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಅಸ್ ವಾಪಸದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರೆಡ್, ರೈಟ್? Activating earthworms. We activate directly. We will not use earthworms separately under vermicompost. Then we use that manure. That we do in organic farming. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ನೇ ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬೋತ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ only. Much better than conventional, but still we have to draw a line between these two. That is the idea. Okay, so remember this one. Bijamrit, Jeevamrit, mulching, Vapasa, plant protection. Moving on to somewhat related topic only again, natural farming ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 2 ಮಿಷನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಶನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫೋಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ನಮೋ ಡ್ರೋನ್ ದೀದಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು 500 crore ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್. What is this drone Didi scheme actually? So Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has allocated rupees 500 crore for the Namo Drone Didi scheme. Purpose ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, the initiative is designed to provide drones to 15,000 selected women self-help groups. We know about self-help groups, right? That is one of the important areas under your mains GS paper. So ಈ initiative ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, women exclusively for women, 15,000 selected women of self-help groups, ಈ ಸ್ವಸಹಾಯ ಸಂಘ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಈ ಡ್ರೋನ್ಸ್ ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. why are they providing these drones? Let us see. So The Namo Drone Didi scheme will operate from 2023-24. It is already the scheme duration action plan ittu, budget allocation ಆಗಿರೋದು ಈಗ 25-26 ತನಕ ಇದು ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. The drones will be used by women SHGs to offer rental services to farmers. So ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಡ್ರೋನ್ಸ್ ನ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ಅಥವಾ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಪೆಸ್ಟಿಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೋ ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದೊಂದು ಉಪಯೋಗಕ್ಕಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದ ಡ್ರೋನ್ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ರೆಂಟಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ಗೆ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇವ್ರು ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಯಾರು ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತ ಆದಾಯ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದು ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಡ್ರೋನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡುವಂತದ್ದು ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ, ವಿಮೆನ್ SHGsಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ provide this drones for rent to farmers. From that they gain income. That is the idea here. So announced support for 1 crore farmers to promote natural farming practices. I have just entered this concept here just for your awareness as of now. We are yet to see ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, what are the implications, how successful it would become after distribution. ಇನ್ನು ಬರೀ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಬರೀ ಅಲೋಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಗಿದೆ, implementation ಇನ್ನೂ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. implementation ಆದ ನಂತರ only testing is been done. implementation ಆದ ನಂತರ when we get enough information about the scheme, we can update more on it. But as of now, remember the concept is SHG or self-help group women will be selected. They'll be provided drones, and these women will provide this rental services to farmers. Okay, irrespective of gender, it doesn't matter, men ಅಂತಾನೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಹಿಯರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಗೆ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾ and all that we do not know. That we will update later on when we see in the news. So this is about Namo Drone Didi scheme, Drone Didi scheme. Okay, fine. Then moving on to the next, tribes in news anta nodidaga, bills were recently in news. So why bills are in news? Usually bills or any tribes in news would be, we will be revisiting the past, like for example tribal revolts ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, tribal rebellion ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, in Rajasthan there is a demand by the tribes to create Bhil Pradesh anta. So this is like an often thing, right? So every now and then we see people from which different parts of the country, they demand for a separate state, separate region. Like this we have n number of other examples also in the past, also in few other classes also we have discussed. So kind of a regionalism that predominantly prevails in such places. Some of the examples can you give? Like ಈ ತರ ಇದೊಂದು ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್, ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ನ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ಸ್. ತುಳುನಾಡು, ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್. ತುಳುನಾಡು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಅದೊಂದು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ಇನ್ ಜನರಲ್ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಳುನಾಡು ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಕೂರ್ಗಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೋ ಪ್ರಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ತುಳುನಾಡು, but it is still there. Kodavanadu, to make it as a Kodavanadu separate state. It was there. The state was, Coorg was already a state. If you see in constitution, if I'm not wrong, article 300 ansutte, adna repeal madidare. Under British rule, Coorg was considered as state. Okay, now it is repealed. It is a district. Likewise, Tulunadu, because of the similar, the language, linguistic commonality what they have, adu ond irbodu. Athwa any other examples? If you specifically talk about tribes, you might have heard about Bodo land, Bodos of Assam, Northeast. Bodo land territorial council ಇದೆ, ಅಥವಾ they have their own council wherein there is a constant demand to make it as Bodo land. ಅಥವಾ Gurkha land ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ they want the separate state. ಈ ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಂ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಜಾಗನ ಗೋರ್ಖಾ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. Khalistan again regionalism anta helbodu, but I am giving you examples of tribes. What all examples you have been giving, it is correct. For the question wherein if there is any demand for new states, in general idella tagonbodu. Tribes anta especially tagondaga ನೀವು ಇದು ಮೂರನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಈಗ ಇದೊಂದಿದೆ Bhil Pradesh. Bhils are basically tribes. Again Bodo tribe language is there. Then Gorkhas, right? Or Gurkhas, Sikkim and Bhutan in this tri-junction area. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು, ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಲುಕ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಸೊ ದ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ ಪ್ರದೇಶ್ ಬೈ ಕಾವಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ 49 districts ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬೋಡೋಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಗೋರ್ಖಾಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ, ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಚೂಸನ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಫಾರ್ 2 states. ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಬಿಲ್ ಪ್ರದೇಶ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ 49 districts from 4 states, and this has been frequently raised by the tribal leaders, and a political party is actually watching for it, especially after the recent Lok Sabha poll, and they wanted to bring back this tribal demand na innonsari tagombarbeku anta local political parties are working towards it. So that is why it is in news. So let's look into the basic idea of this and where do they stay, who are they. So now within a tribes in news anta consider ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So recently there has been growing support for creating a separate bill state called Bill Pradesh. Rajasthan, predominantly Rajasthan main region, ಉಳಿದಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ನೇಬರಿಂಗ್ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನ್ಗೆ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಮಧ್ಯಪ್ರದೇಶ್, ಮಧ್ಯಪ್ರದೇಶ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು, ಮಾಲ್ವಾ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ, ಈ ಜಾಗ ಬಾರ್ಡರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತೆಗೆದು 49 districts ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಲ್ ಪ್ರದೇಶ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ they have their demand like this. So the proposed bill pradesh would encompass 49 districts across 4 contiguous states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra, ಈ 4 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, including 12 districts from Rajasthan. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರಿಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದಾನೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. The Bhil community speaks Billi. Billi is their language and shares similar cultural practices across these states. Though they are spread across 4 states, their cultural relevancy is same, or they have the same cultural aspect. So the advocates believe, so the legal representatives believe a separate state would better preserve and promote their heritage. Ivrda demand ಏನು, ಯಾತಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬಿಲ್ ಪ್ರದೇಶ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಜಾಗ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಹೆರಿಟೇಜ್ ನ ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಲಾಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಸ್. ಓಕೆ, now we will see who are these bills and the background regarding them. Bills, okay, bill ಅಂದ್ರೆ basically these are what, those who use bow and arrows. ನಾವು ಬಿಲ್ಲು ಬಾಣ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅದೇನೆ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ. they are the India's oldest tribes. Okay, so they are known for their different distinct cultural aspect, especially these are the people who have constantly being used out the main cultural aspect andre they use bow and arrows. That's why they are called as bills. So these are the part of the Dravidian racial group in western India belonging to astroloid tribes. Or tumba genetically now nodaga they belong to western part of India and they have these features of astroloid tribes. They are a mix of Munda race and wild tribe of India speaking Billi, a Dravidian language. So Munda race to glimpses now nodbodu ivralli. Historically they ruled parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Malwa plateau we are talking about. You can spot that on your map. Madhya Pradesh and Bihar. Ishtu jagagaligi munche idru historically, right? According to 2011 census, there are the latest, that is the detail we have. The details we have, 17 million bills are there in India who are spread across these states. So what do they follow? What is their cultural aspect like? So bills follow Hinduism, worshipping forest deities, evil spirits, deities such as Lord Shiva and Durga. Pratiyondu tribal cultural ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ usually they will be having this nature worshipping, right? They'll be having their own deities. Sometimes because of evolving or fusing into urban or fusing into different parts of society, Hinduism or the penetration of Hinduism would become part of their culture. Now these people basically follow Hinduism only. Their main deities are Lord Shiva and Goddess Durga, and apart from that they have their own forest deities and evil spirits or deities, what it is called. So the demand for Bill Pradesh originated in, it is not a recent request or a demand. It originated in 1913 when Govindagiri Banjara, a tribal activist and social reformer, proposed a separate bill stated Mangad Hill. See, 1913 is the time wherein still we were ruled by British. So by then itself they had this demand. So it's a very old issue if you speak historically. So this call for a separate state was followed by a tragic event where British forces killed about 1,500 tribals. Aವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, they asked for a separate place, these bills, wherein obviously the British suppressed this tribal rebellion or revolt where they were asking for. So that was a great massacre or a tragic event where 1,500 tribals were killed. Over the years, tribal leaders and political figures have intermittently renewed the push for Bill Pradesh. Okay, so speaking of India's regionalism, speaking of India's linguistic biodiversity, can you think of any of the commissions that has been set up in the past which can speak about reorganization of the states or formation of the new states or new regions? Any committee or any commission that comes to our mind? Linguistic majority adra basis mele ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಕಮಿಷನ್ಸ್, ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. JVP committee, Dhar committee, Dhar regarding tribals, then Dhar commission, then I want you to look into, I think you have it in your this one polity book. Look into recommendations of Fazal Ali. Yes, Fazal Ali commission. ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಅದು ಈ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ರಿಲೆವೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಓದಿದಾಗ. Fazal Ali commission, what are the recommendations of this Fazal Ali commission and how it is related to such demands, and what are the recommendations given where we can actually consider. Okay, so consider this Fazal Ali commission for this very topic. That is your static part to look into. So tribes in news bills, where are they found? Western India. And what is their demand? Bill Pradesh, that is basic. And you look into the constitutional part of it, or the committee that was set up exclusively for such demands. Okay, moving on to environment. We had this mid-year air quality assessment. So mid-year air quality assessment was taken up by the Center for Research and Energy and Clean Area, CREA, recently conducted this assessment. Mid-year air quality and the Jan to June 6 months assessment ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ astonishingly you can see ಹೇಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಈಕ್ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸಿನಾನಿಮಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್, right? But you can see which is the most polluted city in India. It is not Delhi. Delhi is the country's third most polluted city in the first half of 2024, according to this. But when you go ನಾವು ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ನಾವು July ಇಂದ December ಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ obviously Delhi will be topping the list because of winter, when winter is approaching. But ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಡ್ಯೂರೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ it is a place in Birni Hut in between this place is located between Meghalaya and Assam, between these two states. Illiruvanta city alli, or this city is the most polluted city as per the recent assessment. And I have taken up this because air quality index or air quality assessment is very important topic. It's a very important topic in mains. Okay, so moreover in prelims kelbodu mid-year quality assessment prakara which city is the most polluted city. It is not Delhi, remember, it is a city in or a place between, it is located between the bordering areas of Meghalaya and Assam, Birni Hut anta anbiಟ್ಟು. We will see that the other related aspects. Let's look into the news first. The report offers a detailed overview of air pollution or air pollution levels across Indian cities. It highlights the severity and distribution of air pollution, stressing the need for strict measures to address this environmental crisis. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಈ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು what is the highlight of this. Okay, we will have a list of, we will look into the list of the cities. Before that, I've just taken a snapshot of this. Most polluted cities na ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ranking ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you can see the India. okay, which comes under National Air Quality Index as per the WHO guideline ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ different countries different colors na use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, but India dalli ನಾವು see this dark red, then orange, yellow, light green, dark green, ishtu colors na use ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು we will understand what is the air quality index of particular, or for 182 days what is the air quality index in different cities, city basis ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ. And for that air quality index ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ it should come under the program. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸಿಟಿನೂ ಅಸೆಸ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವುದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಏರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ NCAP, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸಿಟಿನ ಅಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿರ್ನಿಹಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೇಘಾಲಯ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಸ್ಸಾಂ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಕೋಡ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 250 or 121 to 250, these are all ranking, different parameters will be there, various criteria will be there, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿವಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್, ವೆರಿ ಪುವರ್, or the air quality is very poor, satisfactory, good. Green is good, red is, dark red is bad or severe. Okay, so let's look into the highlights. Birnihut, situated on the Assam Meghalaya border, was reported as the most polluted city in India, with an average PM 2.5 concentration of 140 milligram per cubic meter. So ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವುದು PM 2.5. Okay, so we have, coming to this, we have under air quality index or air quality standards of India, we have certain pollutants considered as air pollutants. ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ air pollutants ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಏರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಥವಾ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆಂಬಿಯಂಟ್ ಏರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ, which are the major pollutants we consider as air pollutants in India? That you have to know. This has been asked in exam 2018-17 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Which are the prominent air pollutants in India? Can you mention some of them? Particulate matter is also one, but particulate matter bittu ಉಳಿದಿರುವಂತ ಬೇರೆ toxic gases. Yes, sulfur dioxide, let me write it here, or oxides of sulfur, SOx and NOx ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Sulfur dioxide, let me write in words for all of you to be. Sulfur dioxide, then carbon dioxide ಬರುತ್ತಾ? Carbon dioxide is air pollutant? Carbon dioxide is not air pollutant. Carbon dioxide is greenhouse gas. Rather, carbon monoxide is CO2 alla. Okay, carbon monoxide is, let me write down here, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, lead, ammonia, ozone, and particulate matter, both 2.5 and 10. Particulate matter 2.5 and 10. So sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, ozone, lead, ammonia, and particulate matter. Keep this in mind. This actually you don't have to find in any textbook. ನೀವು ದಿನ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ವೆದರ್ ವಾಚ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಟಿದು ಏರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್, ಮೇಜರ್ ಸಿಟೀಸ್, ಮೆಟ್ರೋಪಾಲಿಟನ್ ಸಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೇಜರ್ ಸಿಟೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಪಿಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್, ಕಲರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಿವಿಯರ್, ವೆರಿ ಪುವರ್, ಮಾಡರೇಟ್, ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದಟ್. ಮತ್ತು ಅದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಈ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಮೋನಿಯಾ, ಓಝೋನ್, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Then it is published by CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, source CPCB ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ. That part of that weather watch column ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಆ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 20 to 30% of the air pollution topic ಕವರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ. Hope you got my point. And those who have already attended my classes, and we have this topic that has been dealt who are here, have mentioned this to you, so you can look into it. Okay, ishtu air pollutants. So idanna ನಾವು ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಏರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ನೈಟ್ರಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್. ಈ ನೈಟ್ರಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ನ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟೇ ಬೇರೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್, nitrous oxide is greenhouse gas, nitrogen dioxide is air pollutant. But some air pollutants can also be greenhouse gas. For example, ozone. Getting the point? I have told this in class, but let me repeat. More column ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, more list ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇದು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. It should be handy for you. List of air pollutants. List of air pollutants, list of greenhouse gases, list of ozone depleting substances. Okay, some of the shared a file in the meeting. What happened? Somebody is sharing something. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Chaitra. If people can access it, you can see that she has sent this, wherein I don't know whether it is visible to you. Is it visible? Is it shared? Air quality code anta kottidare nodi, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. So every day they publish. So most of the times we overlook it. Andre adna nodake hogalla ನಾವು, ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. So this is where you learn. I mean, this is how you learn also. Okay. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್, ಓಝೋನ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಒನ್ ಗುಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓಝೋನ್ ಇದೆ, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಓಝೋನ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೈಟ್ರಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಓಝೋನ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫ್ಲೋರೋಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಓಝೋನ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ chlorofluorocarbon is also a greenhouse gas, but it is not an air pollutant. First list ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, then see the common elements. ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ at least 2 lists ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ they are not going to ask direct questions, but if you know this, have a knowledge about this, any other questions asked or peripheral question asked remotely related to this can be answered easily. Okay, yes. Now, let me finish off the other 2 points. So the top 10 polluted cities include 3 in Haryana, 2 in Rajasthan, 2 in Uttar Pradesh, and 1 each in Delhi, Assam, and Bihar. Idishtu ee states alli ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ polluted cities na ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. Haryana, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Assam, and Bihar. So Delhi was the 3rd most polluted city with PM 2.5 levels reaching 102 cubic meter or μg, exceeding both National Ambient Air Quality Standards and WHO. ಅಂದ್ರೆ NAQS national level ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, WHO ಒಂದು ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಎಕ್ಸೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿದು PM 2.5 ಮತ್ತು PM 10. I think I'm sure that you have heard of it. But anyway, PM 10 ಮತ್ತು PM 2.5 ಅಂದ್ರೆ particulate matter 10. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 10 refers to micron size. 2.5 refers to micron. ಎಷ್ಟು size a particulate matter ದು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ anything that we burn, combustion ಅಥವಾ any dust particles, ಅದರದ್ದು size ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದೆರಡನ್ನೂ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟೆಂಟ್. ಮೈಕ್ರಾನ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಅದರದ್ದು 10 ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು PM 10, 2.5 ಇದ್ರೆ PM 2.5. ಮೋರ್ ಡೇಂಜರಸ್ ಇಸ್ PM 2.5 only, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಮೈನ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್, if we inhale, the lower respiratory, upper respiratory ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಇರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. lower respiratory ಅಂದ್ರೆ it might end up in lungs and it would affect human beings. So PM 2.5 is more dangerous than PM 10. Both are air pollutants, but PM 2.5 would cause severe fatalities or health issues in human beings. So that's why PM 2.5 levels ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Then out of 256 monitored, 16 cities monitored, 163 surpassed the annual NAQS of 40 cubic meter, which when all exceeded the WHO limit of 5 cubic meter. Among 97 cities covered by National Clean Air Program, 63 were found to exceed NAQS. ಅಂದ್ರೆ the takeaway from this entire list is ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಿಟಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ WHO ಮತ್ತು NAQS ಏನು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆಂಬಿಯಂಟ್ ಏರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಗೈಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಗಿಂತ ಮೀರಿ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಮಿಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಓಕೆ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ದೇರ್, ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ದ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಇಸ್ ಏರ್ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Programs such as NCAP, they have asked National Clean Air Program ಬಗ್ಗೆ features, guidelines ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ NCAP. Then National Air Monitoring Program ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು NAMP ಇದೆ. So when you learn in your class about pollution, we will be learning that, but just mentioning that to you. Okay, clear with this? This is just in news. So let's focus more on air pollutants, air pollution, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದ topics ಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Then moving on, GM mustard was recently in news. Okay, so I'll just complete this last topic. There are other topics also. Maybe when I share the notes, you can look into it. GM mustard ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ Supreme Court has delivered a split verdict on not for GM mustard. The idea here is ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಈಗ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಡ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಒಂದೇ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು BT cotton, alva BT cotton matra, which is a commercial purpose. It is non-consumption. It is not part of food crop. Adukoskara. But BT brinjal was not accepted, acknowledged. Now GM mustard, the case is going on. Andre genetic appraisal committee, they have given their nod. But there were petitions filed against this, saying that people are not ready to take up this genetically modified mustard, hybrid mustard species. Okay, so there are implications about it. ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ವರ್ಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 3 bench 5 bench ಜಡ್ಜಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮ್ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಟು ಇಟ್, ಸಮ್ ಆರ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸೇಮ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಇದೆ, ಡಿಸ್ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ವರ್ಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ಡ್, ಇನ್ನು ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, so let me read this for you. The Supreme Court recently issued a split verdict on centre's decision to grant conditional approval for the environmental release of genetically modified mustard crops. So the case will be referred to a 3-judge bench of the Supreme Court. Puna ee case puna court ge hogutte, 3 bench judge adanna puna approve ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಈ ಕೇಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. Okay, GM crops refers to genetically modified crops that are engineered with altered genes for various modification. ಅಂದ್ರೆ gene modification ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನು ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ವರ್ಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ what's next? So the bench of justices, that is Justice BV Nagaratna and Sanjay Karol, however asked the center to formulate a national policy with regard to GM crops for research, cultivation, trade and commerce in the country. ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸದ್ಯದ ಜಡ್ಜಸ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ GM ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ತಗೊಬಹುದು, ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಈಗ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೌ we will see key points, just the key points about GM mustard. ಇದೇನು GM mustard is all about. So Dhara mustard hybrid 11 was created in India by cross breeding the Indian mustard variety, indigenous variety Varuna ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಬ್ರೀಡ್, ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಬ್ರೀಡ್, ಮತ್ತು early Hira 2, an eastern European variety ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಬ್ರೀಡ್ ನ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಬ್ರೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಹೈಬ್ರಿಡ್ ಬ್ರೀಡ್ ಇದು Dhara mustard, which is a genetically modified mustard we are talking about. GM mustard is also called as in India Dhara mustard hybrid 11, in a crossbreed ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಮತ್ತು ಯುರೋಪಿಯನ್ ವೆರೈಟಿ. So genetic modification. So this includes 2 foreign genes, Barnes and Barstar. ಇಷ್ಟು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ನಾನು ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೇಡ, ನೀವು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. First point is very important. Okay, sourced from the soil bacterium Bacillus amyloliquefaciens, enhancing hybrid mustard yields. Don't worry about the second point, it is too technical for you, just listen and leave it. First point ಮಾತ್ರ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Classification, it is categorized as herbicide tolerant. ಯಾತಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಈ GM mustard ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ this particular variety can tolerate herbs, unwanted herbs in the field, so that they can grow well. ಈಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಳೆ ಅಂತ ಏನಂತೀವಿ, unwanted plants, that would over cover or completely cover the field. ಇದೇ ಒಂದು ಮೇನ್ ಆಬ್ಸ್ಟಕಲ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ, ಹರ್ಬ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೆಳೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಗಿಡಗಳು ಬೆಳೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇದು ಯೂನಿಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. So it is designed to tolerate specific herbicides, facilitating weed control and improving crop yield. ಈಗ ನಾವು BT ಕಾಟನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮೇನ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾಲ್ ವರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಪಿಂಕ್ ಬಾಲ್ ವರ್ಮ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರನೇ BT ಕಾಟನ್ ವಾಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪೆಸ್ಟ್ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇದು herb resistant. Approval. The Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee has approved. ಅಂದ್ರೆ GEAC ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. GEAC ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಪೆಟಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್. ಇದೊಂದು ಕಮಿಟಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಪ್ರೈಸರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, GM mustard ಬಗ್ಗೆ. So can look into it. So this is the current stance. And what is this GAAC is? GAAC is a committee or which operates under MOEFCC. Other the main idea, it evaluates activities involving the large scale use of hazardous microorganisms, recombinant organisms from an environmental perspective. So ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ರೀಕಾಂಬಿನೆಂಟ್ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬಯೋಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ, ಇದೊಂದು ಅಟಾನಮಸ್ ಬಾಡಿ ತರ, ಈ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಈ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಅಪ್ರೈಸಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅದನ್ನ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದ್ರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪೆಟಿಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಫೈನಲ್ ಸೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಕೋರ್ಟ್. Responsibilities, the committee assesses a proposal for the release of genetically engineered organisms and products into the environment, including experimental field trials. Field trials ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So hope you got the point here. ಇವಾಗ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ still the verdict is not out. There's a split verdict. So the justices or the judges have difference of opinion. So they still again forward it to 3 bench. So 3 ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಗೆ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೆಕಮೆಂಡೇಶನ್ ಇದೆ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ, ಒಂದು ಜೆನೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಫೈಡ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಒಂದು ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಅ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್. GM mustard or Dara hybrid 11 is been approved. It is not approved nationwide. Only GEAC has approved it. This is the conclusion. This is the bottom line of this topic. Okay, so rest of all are miscellaneous. I might have added one missile ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. I'll share the notes anyway. So for today we will wind up the class because some of you will be having next class. Hope it is clear for today's session, and you have been interactive also. So wherever I have mentioned about the static part, please do revise and keep up with your newspaper reading. Never skip that part. Okay, so let's wind for today. Any questions you have, you can ask, or if there is nothing, fine. Let's wind up. Thank you so much. See you in the next class. Take care.